Good morning, students. Our subject is Water Resource Engineering 1. After fourth unit, we are in second unit. Our topic is evapotranspiration and factors affecting of evapotranspiration and measurement of evapotranspiration and control of evapotranspiration. These all things we will discuss in this class. So guys, here in this topic, what is evapotranspiration? It is called ET, and the difference between evaporation and transpiration, types of evapotranspiration, factors affecting evapotranspiration, and how to determine evapotranspiration and the significance of ET. These we are going to discuss. So guys, what is evapotranspiration? It is a combination of two separate process. It is a combination of two separate process of evaporation and transpiration. Here, guys, evaporation means loss of water from the soil surface or any other open water body is called evaporation. Here, transpiration from plant surface. But I want to give you some more information about the what is transpiration. So guys, here transpiration is the process by which water vapor escapes from the living plant, principally through the leaves and enters the atmosphere. This process constitutes an important phase of the hydrologic cycle since it is the principal mechanism by which the precipitation falling on land areas is returned to the atmosphere. Though it is not practicable to separate evaporation and transpiration from an engineer's viewpoint, a knowledge of each process is required to understand the techniques employed to estimate them. The water extracted by the plant roots from the soil is transferred through the plant to the intercellular space within the leaves. Air events the leaf through the stomato openings in the leaf surface and the chloroplast within the leaf use carbon dioxide from the air and a small portion of the available water to manufacture carbohydrates required for plant growth is called a photosynthesis. Air enters the leaf, water escapes through the open stomato. This is the process of transpiration. The ratio of water transpired to that used in forming plant matter is very large, up to 800 or more. So guys, this is called transpiration. But the factors affecting the transpiration also important. The factors affecting transpiration may be considered under three groups: the plant factors, the soil factors, and the climate factors. The plant factors that affect transpiration are the extent and efficiency of the root systems in moisture absorption. The leaf area, leaf arrangement and structure, and the stomatal behavior. Plants with fewer stomatal openings per unit area and less surface area exposed to radiation transpire relatively less water. Plants having root systems reaching to the water table will transpire uh, water which is independent of moisture content in the zone of erosion. All plants can control stomatal openings in some extent and therefore have some ability to reduce the transpiration during periods of drought. However, the control is only to reduce the transpiration, and the upper limit on transpiration is governed by available radiant and sensible energy. The rate of transpiration is largely independent of plant type, provided there is adequate soil water and the surface is entirely covered by vegetation. And thus here, the soil factors include those governing the water supply to the roots, the, the amount of water held in the soil after excess gravitational water has drained is defined as the field capacity. Moisture content at which permanent wilting of plants occur is called the wilting point. The moisture in the soil between field capacity and wilting point is measured available water. Some investigations believe that transpiration is independent of available moisture until it is receded to the wilting point, while others assume that the transpiration is roughly proportional to available moisture. The climatic factors affecting transpiration are solar radiation, light intensity, atmospheric pressure, temperature, and wind etc. Since photosynthesis is highly dependent on the radiation received, about 95% of daily transpiration occurs during daylight hours. Plant growth stops when temperature drops to 4 degrees centigrade. During the night's transpiration virtually ceases due to stomatal closure. Thus, over a period of a month or longer, evaporation from a free water surface may exceed the transpiration from a crop. Over a few hours during the day, however, the crop may evaporate more than a water surface. And guys, here measurement of transpiration also important here. Measurement of transpiration regarding this. It is not possible to measure transpiration loss from an appreciable area under natural conditions. Therefore, the measurements are generally restricted to small samples under laboratory conditions. In one method, the transpiration is computed as the increase in moisture content of the space in a closed container in which one or more plants are grown. Freshly cut leaves, twigs, or stalks of growing plant immediately after cutting are weighted at short time intervals till wilting commences. The method is based on the assumption that transpiration continues at approximately the same rate before and after cutting. Most commonly, transpiration is measured using a phytometer. It is a large vessel filled with soil in which one or more plants are rooted. The soil surface is called after the plant is well established so as to exclude precipitation and to prevent the escape of moisture except throughout the plant. Periodical measurements of the weight of phytometer along with the amounts of water added in the intervening intervals of time give an estimate of transpiration. Since it is not possible, to simulate natural conditions, the results of phytometer observation are useful only for theoretical studies. Transpiration ratio, which is defined as the amount of water transferred by a plant in its growth to produce a unit weight of dry matter exclusive of roots is sometimes used to estimate the transpiration losses. Then that is called the main information about the transpiration. So guys, here what we did, what is the transpiration? Factors affecting transpiration and measurement of transpiration we discussed. Now, evaporation. Evapotranspiration divided into sub-process. Here guys, the evapotranspiration denoted by ET is the sum of the water used by plants in a given area in transpiration and the water evaporated from the adjacent soil in the area in any specified time. Consumptive use, Cu is the evapotranspiration from an area plus the water used directly in the metabolic process of building plant tissue. The amount of water used in the actual metabolic process is insignificant compared to evapotranspiration, and therefore the term Cu is generally taken as equivalent to ET. In an area covered with vegetation, it is difficult and also unnecessary from practical viewpoint to separately evaluate evaporation and transpiration. It is more convenient to estimate the evapotranspiration directly only over those areas of Earth's surface where no vegetation is present. For example, ice and snow fields, bare rock slopes, some desert areas and water surfaces will purely evaporation occur. Evapotranspiration represents the most important aspect of water loss in the hydrologic cycle. The potential evapotranspiration PET is defined as the evapotranspiration which would occur if there was always an adequate water supply available to fully vegetated surface. It is the it is the upper upper limit of evapotranspiration for a crop in a given climate if the water supply available is less than PET. The defect will be drawn from soil moisture storage until the available soil moisture is reduced to about 50%. Beyond this, the actual evapotranspiration AET will be less than PET until the wilting point is reached when evapotranspiration ceases. Seasonal consumptive use of a crop is the total quantity of water used by it in evapotranspiration during the entire growing season. A knowledge of PET and seasonal Cu is useful in designing the irrigation systems. And next, factors affecting the evapotranspiration. Guys, here evapotranspiration divided into sub-process. Evapotranspiration is evaporation and transpiration. From evaporation, open water, soil, and vegetable surfaces. From transpiration to the plants. This is the evapotranspiration divided into sub-process. Here, guys, so guys, here the differences between the evaporation and transpiration. Transpiration, transpiration is a physiological process. Evaporation is a physical process. It is transpiration is a loss of water from the free surface of cells. Here it is loss of water from the free surface of water. And a regulated process, non-regulated process. A guard cell involved, no role of a guard cell. It is comparatively slow process. It is faster process. Influenced by anatomy of plants, there is no much influence. So types of evapotranspiration. Here guys, evapotranspiration may be classified as evapotranspiration, potential evapotranspiration, referential evapotranspiration, and actual evapotranspiration. Guys, potential evapotranspiration. Concept given by Torrent White. It is the highest rate of ET from an activity growing short height vegetation completely covering the ground with abundant water supply at a given climatic condition. Referential evapotranspiration is concept given by Doran Boss and Fruit. It is the ratio of ET evapotranspiration not highest from an extended area completely covered by grasses of 12 to 15 centimeter high completely covering the ground. It is the abundant soil moisture subsurface actual evapotranspiration. It is the actual evapotranspiration of a crop at a particular locality and at a particular time. It depends upon crop, soil, climate, and management factors. And guys, here are the factors affecting evapotranspiration. So environmental factors, plant crop factor and geographical factor and soil factor. So guys, here I need give you some more knowledge of the factors affecting of evapotranspiration here. In general, the factors that govern the evaporation and transpiration also govern the evapotranspiration process. However, a distinction between potential evapotranspiration and actual evapotranspiration is important. Potential evapotranspiration is controlled essentially by meteorological factors, whereas the actual evapotranspiration is also considerably affected by plant and soil factors. In general, potential evapotranspiration tends to increase and temperature, sunshine, and wind speed increase and as the humidity decrease. Radiation supplies the energy for the evapotranspiration process. A close relationship exists between the net solar radiation and evapotranspiration. The type of plant may also possibly influence the evapotranspiration in the sense that albedo of the vegetation surface may vary from point to plant. A light colored surface will obviously reflect away more and therefore absorbs less radiation than a dark colored surface. But most plant surfaces fall within a fairly narrow color range. The albedo of most green agriculture crops is very nearly constant at about 0.25. The orientation of row crop also influences the evapotranspiration and interception of solar energy is a function of orientation. The presence or the absence of crop in the surrounding lands may also influence evapotranspiration. Air masses passing over a cropped and irrigated area of the field in question are cooler and more humid than those coming from the bare ground. The evapotranspiration is therefore less in the former case than in the latter. As already pointed out, the actual evapotranspiration is influenced by the soil and plant factors also. When the vegetation surface is dry and when the soil moisture content falls below optimum value, the actual evapotranspiration rate will be limited by the resistance to water movement imposed by the soil pores and the plant. The destiny of vegetation cover, which is defined as the ratio of leaf surface area to ground area, which is of the order of 5 to 10, will also influence actual evapotranspiration. It has been observed that a reduction in the density of vegetation cover reduces the evapotranspiration rates. Removing the lower leaves, if properly timed, can reduce water lost by transpiration with little or no loss in grain yield. AET losses will also differ according to the main stages of the plant development. Thus, in the seedling stage, the evapotranspiration is high, while after ripening of the grain crop, the evapotranspiration may be very much less than potential evapotranspiration. So guys, but mainly factors affecting evapotranspiration is environmental factors, plant crop factor, geographical factors, soil factors. So environmental factors. Several factors affecting a plant's rate of transpiration and therefore evapotranspiration. Air temperature. As the temperature increases, evapotranspiration also goes up. Humidity. As the air becomes more and more saturated, less water is able to evaporate into the air. Momentum of wind and air increases evaporation and transpiration does as well because moving air is less saturated than stagnant air. So moisture and water available. Less water available means plants begin to transpire less water in an effort to survive. This in turn decreases evapotranspiration. Solar radiation. More solar radiations, more will be the rate of evapotranspiration. Guys, evapotranspiration is an energy-driven process, increases with the temperature, solar radiation, and wind speed. Evapotranspiration decreases with increasing humidity. So wind, solar radiation, temperature, humidity. Plant and crop factors. Vegetative cover, leaf shape and size, type of plant. And geographical factors. ET is also dependent upon an area's geography, latitude and climate. Regions on the globe with the most solar radiation experience more evapotranspiration. Evapotranspiration rates are also highest in areas with a hot and dry climate. ET is less in higher latitudes. Soil factors. ET dependent upon water table depth, soil moisture, and capillary character. When soil is lacking moisture, plants begin to transpire less water in an effort to survive. This is turn decreases evapotranspiration. So guys, measurement of evapotranspiration. So guys, measurement of evapotranspiration, indirect method, direct method, catchment, water balance, energy balance, and lysimetry method. So in guys, direct method, a lysimeter is a measuring device which can be used to measure the amount of actual evapotranspiration which is released by plants, usually crops or trees. By recording the amount of precipitation that an area receives and the amount lost through the soil. The amount of water lost by evapotranspiration can be calculated. ET is equal to P plus I minus D plus S, where ET is equal to evapotranspiration, P is equal to precipitation, I is equal to irrigation water, D is equal to excess water drained from bottom, S is equal to increase or decrease in storage of Soil moisture. Guys, here list meter apparatus for measuring evapotranspiration, rain gauge, tank, and receiver. So, indirect method. Catchment water balance. Evapotranspiration may be estimated by creating an equation of the water balance. Et is equal to P minus delta S minus capital Q minus capital D. Here where Et is equal to evapotranspiration, P is equal to precipitation, delta S is equal to change in storage, Q is equal to stream flow, D is equal to groundwater recharge. Significance of evapotranspiration. It is an important process in a water cycle as it represents for 15% of atmosphere water vapor. It maintains soil temperature. It helps in movement of nutrients in plant, optimizes temperature of plant, make the plant cell turgid, which provide a proper shape to plant. So guys, here and one more thing is measurement of evapotranspiration. There are mainly four methods of direct measurement of evapotranspiration: water budget method and field experimental plots and soil moisture depletion studies and Limster method. Here guys, water budget method. This method, also known as inflow-outflow method, is suitable for evaluating evapotranspiration of large area such as watersheds over relatively long periods of time. The evapotranspiration can be evaluated provided all other constituent items of the following water balance equation are known is equal water supply is equal to water disposal. The items constituting the supply are surface inflow, subsurface inflow, precipitation, and imported water. The item constituting the disposal are surface outflow, subsurface outflow, evapotranspiration, domestic, municipal, and industrial use, exported water, increase in surface storage, increase in groundwater storage. It is evident that the above rigorous definition of water balance makes evaluation extremely difficult. However, the normal annual evapotranspiration can be readily computed as the difference between long-term average of precipitation and the stream flow, since the change in storage items over a long period of years is inconsequential. Next, field experimental plots. In this method, a field plot is chosen and the amounts of water added to the irrigation plot under observation by way of precipitation and irrigation are measured along with the runoff. The moisture content in various layers of the soil within the root zone depth are measured both at the beginning and end of the crop season. Then the evapotranspiration is computed as Et is equal I minus Q minus delta S, where I is the total inflow in mm, including precipitation and irrigation water. Q is the total surface runoff in mm, and delta S is the increase in soil moisture storage in mm, which is computed from the following equation. So since it is difficult to evaluate the deep percolation losses, they are not included in the balance equation. Here it is recommended that water is added to the plot only in small quantities to minimize this loss. Another precaution that is required is that the water table at the location of the plot should be deep. so that the plants do not derive any supply from this source. If the soil moisture is maintained near field capacity throughout the season, the evapotranspiration resulting from equation represents potential evapotranspiration. Soil moisture depletion studies. In this method, the studies involve measurement of soil moisture from various depths at as frequent intervals of time as possible throughout the growth period of crop. The method gives satisfactory results for irrigated field crop grown on fairly uniform soils and where the soil moisture variations within the root zone are not influenced by groundwater. The evapotranspiration for any time period between two successive sampling is obtained here. So, summation of the evapotranspiration values of all sampling intervals gives the seasonal evapotranspiration or the seasonal consumptive use. Of course, due allowance should be made in the summation to account for the evapotranspiration that occurred between irrigation application and soil moisture sampling. So guys, and the last concept is so guys, the control, the evapotranspiration control. Actually, that is evapotranspiration control is evapotranspiration control. Regarding this, evapotranspiration may possibly be reduced from a region through the following measures. First one, by destroying the unwanted plants that transpire efficiently, by breeding plant varieties that transpire less, by breeding plant varieties that transpire less, by reducing air movement over a crop, by wind breaks of interplanted rows of taller plants. Next, by applying chemical anti anti-transparents, by placing watertight moisture barriers or water retardant mulches on the soil surface, by appropriate land use changes in the catchment which increase stream flow. The attempts of reducing evapotranspiration through land use changes should be undertaken only after through a thorough study of possible related side effects such as a high rate of erosion and increased peak flow. Okay, guys, thank you all of your patience. So evapotranspiration also has completed. So the remaining topic is infiltration. Tomorrow we will discuss. Thank you.